Welcome to the
could
Crypto
play that
Hour of
game,
Power.
couldn't we?
Look, the man is in
What's
the man,
in
the
the
myth, the
secret
legend
bag?
is in the studio. He loves to talk over me. I think it's become his secret passion. It's not
I
quite
just
so
prefer
secret.
my voice than yours.
I think
mate.
that's what it is.
You're not lying there either.
Look, ego is not a dirty word apparently, but
No.
can we just spend 2 seconds to bring the show back? Okay, even though
Right.
we're about 10 seconds in and we've already lost control. We have a lovely guest here today. It is fantastic to meet you, Minnie. It's been a bit of a rush, and I do apologise for that because I would have loved to spend a little time and find out what makes you tick a little bit before we go on air. But now we're going to do it live. And so there we go. Yep. Actually, I'll throw to you, mate. You can do a little
bro.
Yeah, if you could.
You know?
Yeah, if you could. And if anyone has any comments or questions, don't be shy. Pop them on the screen and we'll pop them up if we can.
Yeah, cool. All right, it's Crypto Hour of Power, orangebrickroad.com.au, everything in crypto. And today we're going to be talking about a major swing in crypto. It has been something that has been in the background for a while. And lately it's become, I think, the next sort of wave in crypto, right, which is called real world assets, RWAs. Basically, real world assets. I'll get Minnie to go into more detail about it in a minute. But basically, it's the tokenization of a real world asset on the blockchain. Today, we're going to be talking about real estate on the blockchain. In my mind, it's probably the fastest growing part of crypto. And I also think it's going to be the longest lasting form of crypto because you get a lot of memes that have come through and then the ICOs, and every cycle has a different sort of, I don't know, adoption, you know. And I think real world assets has been around for a while, and I think this leg up is going to be really real world assets. With the tokenization, they're talking about tokenization of the stock market, gold, mine sites, vineyards, et cetera, et cetera. But today we're going to sort of focus on real world assets. So generally what we do to start with is Minnie is with us. She is representing Blocksquare. Did I get that right?
Yes,
Ocean
that's right.
Point.
Blocksquare, yep.
Is that mic okay where it is?
Mate, I'll look after that bit. You do your bit. You'll be fine.
Just checking, mate. Just checking. So what we're going to do is what we normally do is, obviously, Minnie, you didn't start off in crypto, you know, so just give us a little bit of background of what you're doing pre-crypto. Then we'll go into what got you into crypto, and then we'll start talking about the projects that you're currently involved in.
Yeah, sounds good. So where I started was accounting, actually. So firstly, working in accounting offices, understanding accounting and what balance sheets were, which was pretty important to know. And then from there, did many different things in Treasury Department. I was working with, large budgets in finance, those sort of things, and starting to learn a little bit more about money. And then I started trying to really work out what money was and how it worked and how I could get some of it, basically. So I educated myself on real estate because all the books I was reading, they were all saying that real estate's where people make the money. So that's where I started. And
certainly very much the Australian thought there, right?
Yeah.
Other countries don't see it the same way.
Well, other countries probably didn't have the opportunity that we had at that time as well.
Sure.
And I think, although there's still a lot of people who made a lot of money out of real estate. But then, of course, you know, there's Richard Branson, who's entrepreneurial, and Warren Buffett, who's like business, and sort of went through all of those biographies, I guess, and or autobiographies, and tried to actually piece together a picture of what money was about. Anyway, started in property, buying and selling, buying land, selling land, then buying land, building homes and selling.
As a representative or doing it personally?
Doing it within a company, in my own company.
Okay, so you started a company and you basically started buying and selling real estate.
Yeah, that's right. So trading. So basically at the end of the day, I was trading properties.
Right.
Buying, either renting or buying and flipping, buying and renting and flipping, or buying land and building, anything that I could do to make money in property. And I had a partner in that business. So we just went about and did that for many years. Then came the GFC. That's when I really learnt about money. Because
I bet.
System's broken, right?
Yeah.
And when that started to happen and everything started to fall apart, being really, really highly leveraged meant having to try and catch that falling knife to sell the assets down as quickly as possible, and also start work again, like for for somebody else. And that way I chose sales in real estate because it kind of fit, and pay down the debt. like pay the interest and pay down the debt and try and maintain good assets and get rid of anything that was, you know, and still have that leverage balance. So, yeah, I learned a lot about money in that system. But then from knowing that money was broken, I started to think about what else is there that you can create money out of, because, you know, on wages, it's a really difficult thing to, you just like hand to mouth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Can I just interrupt you on that,
Sure.
though? Okay, because a lot of people, like we're sitting here and people who have experienced crypto and we talk about the system, a lot of people don't realize that money is broken, that the system is broken and it's inherently flawed. And I know that I opened a big Pandora's box. But with the GFC, I think that exposed a lot. And obviously the birth of crypto, I don't know, liberated a lot of people. Yeah. For yourself, though, I mean, was there a moment where you went, hang on, the system is clearly an absolute mess?
Yeah, because then I started to look at the gold standard and when that was removed.
Yeah.
And then I just started to learn about economics and I started to learn about, you know, a bank getting $100 and lending it out 20 times at $100, you know, or 30 or 50 or whatever
Fractional
it is.
reserve banking.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And then I went, how can that be sustainable? Like fundamentally from my pretty basic perspective, how is that ever going to work? So I think, definitely the system was broken because of that fractionalized lending and all of the leverage that was in the system and the debts between the countries and those sort of things.
Sure.
And I just looked at that and I went, that's absolutely crazy.
I understand, because I mean, you're working in money, and most people in the world do not know. They don't know about the fact that the fact that it used to be tethered to gold, and it wasn't back in the 70s. That was changed. They don't realise about the fact of the fractional banking, which is a big thing.
It's huge.
It's ridiculous.
Formation of the Federal Reserve. Creature Jackal Island.
And printing money.
That's right.
But when you were saying that they're over leveraged, you know, and there was a lot of over leveraged in the thing, it sounded like you were very over leveraged as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Was that dictated through, because you're almost incentivized through interest rates, you know what I mean, to compound. And then as soon as them interest rates start to rise, then you just sort of get wiped out? Pretty
much, because but what happened was that does happen. But for me, it was more about the values of the properties started to drop.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when the value of the property is dropping and I'm leveraged over, say, 90%, you got to cut that down really quickly, right?
Very quickly.
And look, a lot of it was commercial, so that was like a 30% leverage or whatever it was, 70%, you know, 30% equity. So there was those sort of things as well. But then it was like weeding through all the assets and going, got to get rid of that, got to get rid of that, got to get rid of that. And like putting them on the market at 10% less than what everybody else was selling for just to get them gone, you know. So it's pretty hectic. It was pretty stressful time.
And you kept your hair.
It's not real. No. Well, I think I think when something like that happens, you just do everything you can to make it right?
Yeah, sure. Survival mode.
But also it's only money, you know?
That's a big statement. It's a very big statement.
I know it is, and I say it again, and we all need money to live, and I'm not diminishing that at all in any way. Yeah. But I also know that, like, at the end of the day, and it sounds really cliche, but health, family, friends, relationships, you know, that's fundamental to us as human beings.
Thoroughly agree. I mean, I made the comment purely because so many people tie their personal wealth to their personal wealth, right? Yeah. Which is not a great way of going. And the great, I don't know, you are incentivized, right, to overcapitalize and to spend too much and to put yourself in a position where you're leveraging to the max.
Well, we feed the system, don't we?
We very much do. Yeah.
So then what happened when I read the Bitcoin white paper? I heard about Bitcoin and I read the white paper and I went, that's the answer. Like, that is totally the answer, is like absolute peer-to-peer trading, no middlemen. So no banks, no mortgage brokers, no settlement agents, lawyers, accountants, solicitors. It's basically two people having an agreement and being able to transfer money between each other and ownership.
And storing your own money, having sovereignty.
Your self-sovereignty, So that was a massive, big shift in my mindset. And then I went, okay, so what's next? So how do I go down this path?
Sure.
How do I get involved in this? And it started with just getting educated again, as everything does, right? Education is the unlock to everything.
Sure is.
And you've got to be curious. And I ask questions, and really dumb questions mostly, still do. But everybody is quite happy to talk to you about it because most people in the space are very progressive. They tend to work together. Like the space is not like a space I've been in before, because everybody's trying to help everybody get to the next level, so we can keep the space moving forward.
That's right, and they know the learning curve themselves because they've gone through it.
100%.
You know?
Yeah. So then when I looked at that, I went, okay, so educated myself, invested myself, and then started looking at projects.
Yeah.
And then, as Brennan was saying, like we've gone through all these waves of different hypes and crashes and all those sort of things, and the meme coin one that you mentioned, which I think is amazing. Like I love meme coins for so many reasons. One of them is that it's a real community builder.
Right.
They're fun, right?
Okay.
They're not there to make money for anybody really, but you get involved in it in small portions of money. You have a bit of fun. Sometimes you get wrecked. Mostly you get wrecked.
Yeah.
Sometimes you make a bit of money, and sometimes the community stays,
right.
and you still keep, talking with the community.
Do you think at that angle more like a little bit of a fun gamble?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like playing the pokies,
Just
right?
like playing a bit of, play. But then the community aspect I think is really, really important because, everybody knows it's for fun. It's when people come in and they think, oh, it's a get rich quick scheme.
Yep.
Yeah, so many do.
And there's so many do. That's, I don't want that. I don't think there's many people that do want that. But then there's also the rug pulls. I mean, we know crypto, it's pretty wild. But then I started looking at so back to my thinking around like my research on Richard Branson, Warren Buffett, like business makes sense, entrepreneurship makes sense. And I'm putting that together and I'm thinking, wow, use cases in crypto are huge because it's like completely different way of doing our financial system. And then I started looking at, tokenization in the last couple of years, and I tokenized one of our properties and went through the process and went, oh, that's pretty simple. Like it's basically you do your KYC, you prove the value of your business, you prove the earnings of your business, you put it on chain, you create a digital token, and then in my case, I kept the tokens. I didn't offer them for sale.
Okay.
And I just staked them on our Ocean Point decentralized finance platform and just earned more tokens on that platform.
Gotcha.
Then I went, this is crazily good because at the end of the day, the process is tokenize your asset, release part of the future earnings by way of a 10%, say, tokenization of the equity in your property.
Okay.
And let retail investors who don't have any access to real estate buy small portions of property and earn a yield, plus stake their property, or their token, and then earn better than the debasement of currency rate. This is where it gets to, right? So this is why Blocksquare for me was like, whoa, this makes perfect sense because they've got the DeFi platform with Ocean Point and they've got the tokenization white label marketplace infrastructure for people to do tokenization all over the world.
Right.
So just like tick, 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 tick.
Well, this is interesting. Something that came from what you've just said. I think to myself, back in the old days, if you wanted to have commerce between two people, you obviously had to be physically in the same area, right? Now, with technology, we don't. We can be anywhere in the world. And that means we don't need all these middlemen. We don't need all these pigs in the trough, quite frankly.
True.
We don't. By doing that, it just makes it a much cleaner transaction, right? And that was one point that I wanted to make. The other thing was I hear so much, and in fact I had a conversation about it yesterday. We were doing a show and we were talking about the fact that young people and they're struggling to get into the property market.
Yeah.
Well, obviously it's incredibly tough. But if you're tokenizing real estate, here's a way in, right?
100%.
Yeah, and a much easier, far less gatekeepers, and potentially amazing growth. There's just a lot of opportunities there.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, because it's not. That's what I like about your platform, not shilling it or whatever. I just genuinely do. Is there's more than one moving part.
Yes.
Like if you own a property, you can then, make it more liquid and earn money off it. You can also participate in the DeFi aspect of it. As a retail investor, you can then also participate, and then stake it. So it's got more than one moving part. And not to confuse or make this too complicated. When we're talking DeFi, we'd like to break things down in this show so it's sort of simplified.
Sure.
All right. To explain what DeFi is, it's basically decentralized finance.
Yeah.
Okay. And to me, it's also the evolution of the internet. When we first started with Web 1,
yep,
it was basically email. Web 2, social media. Web 3, which is what we're dealing in basically, is commerce built on top of the internet, right? So, for example, if you were starting off in real estate, you could then say you've got $1,000. You can then put $100 into 10 different properties.
Yes.
So you diverse your portfolio,
That's it.
Yeah. So, excuse me.
For the token holder, that diversification is important. And that yield that they're going to get on that is returned either monthly or 3 monthly, whatever the contract states. Then the staking then gives them the extra percentage. So they're really in a position now. They're participating in a real estate market.
Yep.
Without any leverage, no lending. It's just money that they've got that they can afford to put in there.
Yeah. By diversifying too, you're spreading risk and making it a safer proposition.
100%. Yeah. And the platform itself, what we do with Blocksquare is those tokens are tied to the title.
Okay.
So the person can't sell that property and not honour the contract. So it's really important from Blocksquare's perspective is to keep the safety and security there for the token holder.
Right.
And the token and the property owner then releases the equity, and the property could $100,000 or however much it is based on how much they tokenize.
Okay. Is it a caveat style arrangement or?
It's different in different jurisdictions.
Right.
So every jurisdiction has its own way of doing that.
Yep.
And so, depending on where you are.
But you've got security.
You've got security on it, yeah. And there's lots of different ways that can be done in different areas. So, yeah.
Yeah. And because it took me a while to sort of get my head around because there's so many, because basically I'm not a degenerate sort of crypto person. I like long-term growth and all. I do get a little bit of degen every now and then. Throw some.
I was silent for a moment there.
So 10-15% of your portfolio, as long as the rest of your portfolio is solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have a little speculation. I've done it, and I've done a 10,000x on stuff. I've also done stuff and just got absolutely wrecked.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But once again, it's only 10-15%. Right, swinging back around is my understanding of everything. With the more I understand your project, the more bullish I'm on it. And once again, not shilling. But it did take me a while, right? Because I'm more of a retail investor. Okay. Is when I was like, okay, you tokenize your property, right? And say you've tokenized $100,000 worth of a $500,000 property, and I put 10 grand into it. Does that mean I own 1% of your property? So then I can just delegate and say, all right, I'm going to take a portion of the kitchen, that's mine, or the dining table, mine. Until I got the economic rights, you know what I mean?
Correct, yeah.
That's sort of go into that in a bit more detail.
So basically, the ownership of the property doesn't change.
Yeah.
It stays in the SPV or the company that owns it. All it does is allows that contract to be created between the person who owns the property and the token holder. And the contract may say, I will give you 5% of the revenue based on your on your token holding, and it will be paid every month. And generally, we'd have an accountant do, like a third party, do the books or auditor.
I think that's important. Yeah.
It is. So oracles get set up. You can do that. Like we would assist. But
by oracle, you mean it's automated?
Well, yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's an education piece that slots in there as well. There's people need to know how to navigate that space, which it's not difficult.
No,
it just needs to be taught.
With all the change in tech and the automation, we're all obsessed with AI at the moment, all kind of carried. But the great positive to this is by taking, and I don't want people losing their jobs, but taking people out of the process ups your profit because you're not having to pay wages and so forth in the middle there. So again, it just makes this whole process a lot cleaner than traditional, fiat transfer of funds and so forth.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think, and with the whole tokenization piece, as you said in the beginning, that's going to be the biggest run in crypto in the next, definitely 2026, because there's not one person that I speak to that isn't talking about tokenization now. Because it's not just real estate, but I think it's a great use case because it's easy to secure.
Yeah.
It is a, $300 trillion industry that we haven't been able to unlock equity in without many, many costs along the way. And it's very hard for people to get, even second mortgages or anything like that. It's very, very difficult. So that's part of it. But there's also things like all the financial products are being tokenized because on-chain settlements outside of our traditional finance settlement process is quick. It's very, very cheap.
Okay.
And it's seamless. There's nobody else involved in that process. So imagine settling a property where you were just doing peer-to-peer transfer.
I can't imagine how much easier that is.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we've all
exactly.
dealt with settlement agencies and all these ridiculous contracts and all that. And I've had an experience once where I was buying a home, and I actually, because the contracts were so complicated that we had to go down a ridiculous long path to do something that was really easy.
Right.
Without boring them with the detail, it was just I couldn't believe what and the extra fees and the extra people that had to be involved and the extra processes. It was ridiculous for something that was pretty damn simple. You've got something I want. I've got some money. Can we exchange them?
Yeah.
Damn simple, right?
It doesn't actually take out the contract part of it, but what it does is it hard codes the contract. So it's a smart legal contract.
Yep.
Sits on Ethereum. Smart contract means it auto executes. Whatever the terms of that contract are, will auto execute when these triggers are met. So there's nobody having to sort of be involved in it, or somebody leaving it on their desk and saying, "Oh, I forgot about that."
Yeah.
Or all those sort of things. But then there's gold, there's financial instruments. There's equities, there's your mining companies, as you said.
Yeah, mine sites.
There's so many things, like any real world asset now, cars.
Yeah.
Even IP can all be tokenized now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, back to cars.
Sorry.
No, I'm a car man. Have you noticed around here, buddy?
That's what it'll okay,
and I might be needing a new car. Okay, so how can I tokenize that? How can I make that work for me?
Well, generally with cars at the moment, how it's tokenized is it's like a Lamborghini or something, and it's somewhere in a hermetically sealed, or a vintage. It's a very, very expensive car.
Okay, did I mention I'm looking for a Lamborghini?
Oh, no. Did you? Are you in crypto?
I can't afford a Lamborghini, but but no, I understand. So we're talking about cars that are really that are assets because of their classic nature or their expense
and the increase in value.
Sure,
right.
Yeah, they're an asset like that. Yeah.
Paintings.
Yeah, paintings.
You know what I mean? A lot of art. They're looking at tokenizing,
right? And
not with NFTs either, by the way, people.
No, just tokenizing, which means it's the digital representation of that piece of art. Now, there might be 5 people that own that piece of art.
Yep.
And it might be sitting in a museum, but as that piece of art goes up
in value,
their value increases. They can then trade their token on a trading platform instantly. It's just like, I don't really want this 10% of the Mona Lisa anymore. I'm going to trade it in, and it could be worth whatever it's worth, right?
Yep.
This is a brilliant thing. I mean, artwork is a great example of it. We see the value of art go up and up and up, and classic cars, without doubt. I mean, we were having a bit of joke again on a show just last week, and we were talking about this particular Ferrari, right? And there's a Ferrari, there's a picture on the wall, and I jokingly said, "I've got the picture on the wall. That's as close as I'll get." Okay, now that car when it was brand new was something like $12,000 US. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Okay, it is now $70 million US. All right. That's not a bad return.
That's a pretty good return.
It's a pretty good return. Now, but an asset like that, now I can't afford to ever buy a $70 million Ferrari, but I wouldn't mind a piece of it.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that because it will go up more and more.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's worth $700 million or something like that, and it goes up 10% in a year, that's $7 million. That's pretty good growth.
It's not,
to get a part of.
But see, the thing is, by doing it through tokenization, you have the instant settlements, the tradability of that token, liquidity for the owner.
Yeah, the speed of it is just fantastic.
I know, it's just So, and if you think about like pretty much any asset you can think about, commercial assets are really great because revenue sharing is really easy because there's plenty of revenue. But not only that, like everything.
Okay.
And that's what we're talking about now. A lot of the conversations are like we're going to be tokenizing everything. So everybody's got a piece of all these different assets.
Right.
And they're getting sometimes revenue share, sometimes equity, sometimes they've got ownership, like depending on the contract.
Okay. So say I'm going to hypothetically here. Okay, we've got premises here. We want to move. We're looking at buying a property rather than a lease. Like, could you go in and tokenize that? Could you get into a property that does that sort of thing? How would that kind of work in basic terms?
It's exactly the same as real estate. So it's a real estate thing. So the commercial real estate, you buy the property. You might get 50% lend from your bank.
Sure.
You might need an extra 20% to renovate it to make it a studio like this. It's going to be earning revenue. You've got your business plan. So you go, okay, well, 50% from the bank, I'll tokenize 20% of it. Then I'll give all the people that come to my studio the opportunity to buy my tokens, buy a QR code on the door. Okay. I like this QR code. I can see all the details of the property. I buy a token like that.
Right.
Done.
Wow.
You've got your money.
Yeah.
We're talking crypto. This is all crypto payment rails, right?
Yeah.
But you've got your crypto. It's in your wallet. The person has now a piece of your business, and you pay that revenue out to them based on their percentage ownership or percentage revenue of their tokens.
As your business will grow, or the projection of your business that is growing, or they think your business is going to grow. For example, they watch shows like this and they just think this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Right? Just pile in, man. Just pile in. Okay. How much time have we got? Because I can't see the timer thing.
I'll give you a whole 4 minutes. What do you think?
4 minutes?
4 minutes, yeah.
God, it's enough time to do your mum. So if we were to break this down real quick.
With friends like this.
We do the mama jokes. Okay, so if you're interested in tokenizing a property, right, and like say I've got a property, what's the next step?
The next step is contact us.
Yep.
Just reach out. We'll talk to you. We'll go through the property. We'll understand what you're looking to get out of that. We'll just have a conversation. Really simple.
Well, the conversation is the important part.
100%.
Both parties need to know, and you need to lay it all out there, the pros, the cons, and what's the best way of moving forward. Like, we tease each other and we joke around, but honestly, what you do with Orange Brick Road as far as education is the key.
Yeah.
Without the information, without the education, you're swimming out there on the ocean.
Yeah, definitely.
On your own.
100%. Okay. What's in the magic bag?
Oh dear.
Right, as we're tying it up.
I'm actually terrified.
I was concerned because you seem to gift wrap in a similar way that I do.
Yeah. I've spent a lot of time on this.
Oh dear. What's in the bag?
Well, it's a Christmas presents.
Is it really?
Okay. And
God, please.
so this is for you, Aaron.
Oh, it's a self-portrait.
It's a little Buddha because he's fat and bald. So it reminds me of you. But it's also because of the influence that you have over people and what you do on Edge Radio is very important. So this is a little reminder that you're not an individual and you're helping mass people out.
I appreciate that, mate. That's really sweet.
That is lovely.
Jeez.
All right. So every time you look at that, you can think of me.
It's glittery. Oh, my God.
All right. And this is for you, Minnie. Okay. It's a little Superman.
Oh.
Righty. Okay.
Is that you?
Yes. So every time you look at it, you be reminded how cool I am.
Right.
Oh,
so apparently he's cool. I'm fat and bald. Nice system. I like that.
So Merry Christmas, guys.
Mate, thank you very much. And I genuinely love that gift. I really do.
I think it's perfect for you, man. I saw it and went, geez, that looks like Aaron.
Look, I always thought I had a body of a god, but Buddha would be the obvious choice.
Okay, so we're gonna take a break for Christmas.
We are. We have a little holiday, but you can catch up with replays, which we'll be playing every single week. Every Tuesday at 1, you'll be able to catch the Crypto Hour of Power, so don't miss out on that. This will be out on the socials. It is actually currently going out on the socials right now. It's going out on, YouTube and Facebook. But remember, Facebook only keeps it for a month now. So, go out there and do the right thing. Get onto the old YouTube, like, subscribe, do all of that, and share away because this is the way that we grow our community.
Yep, 100%.
Fantastic. Really appreciate it.
No worries.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Have a good Christmas.
Oh, look, but is that your closing point?
Yeah, my Christmas break. I'm just going to sleep.
Yeah, that's it. Well, Minnie, thank you very much for coming in. If I can, I'd love to invite you to come in again, and we'll go and sort of a deeper sort of dive, I guess, into things. But I think you've got a lot to offer.
Right. I'd love to come along. I love the station. It's great.
Fantastic.
Cool. And also, just for a reminder, to get hold of orangebrickroad.com.au, you'll see in our services tab, real world assets. That's how you get in contact with these guys.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you very much for being part of the Crypto Hour of Power here on Edge Radio Australia.